All rise. Honorable Judge Dr. Rhil will be presiding. Don't laugh, Nathan. So now, you may be seated. You may be seated. Today, we will be trying Little Black Book. Little Black Book. And give me a second. Give me a second. Is the prosecution ready? Okay. Let's bring this on to.
You know, I do these legendary live streams where.
No, let me stop playing. All right, y'all. So, Anton and a guy, I didn't know about him. But the funny thing about me watching this video and then going through the comments of this video was I learned why jury selection is the way that it is. Like, it's the reason why they have unbiased people that say what happens in these trials because people who have an opinion on the people who are being tried already will sway their opinion a certain way. See me, I listen to this with unbiased ears. And we're going to break this down. Apparently, this guy had some things to say about Anton, and Anton called him up to the live, and he pulled up, which I respect.
I deep dive into people because I'm petty. I'm petty like that. What gives you what makes you think that you can give people insight and information on relationships?
Good question. To be honest, there's no credentials behind it, guys. I'll be honest with you. I've never claimed to be a therapist or psychologist or anything like that. I just like to observe, and my mind thinks in more of a psychological aspect. Of course, you do a little bit of reading around that as well. But for me, it's more about just I observe, I listen, I talk to people. Mm-hmm.
See, this whole feminist movement and equal movement, this is a recent thing. This isn't something that is existed during the time that my grandmother was born and things like that. This is new. This is a different thing. And I believe in my observation that the men are the ones that empowered the women to feel this comfortable saying it, such as some of the things that you said about me on your platform. You made those women over there feel real comfortable saying a lot of egregious things, and then you empowered them. It's men like you, Kojak. Or is it Kojo? I'm sorry. Kojo?
It's Kojo.
Kojo? It's men like you that empower them to feel this comfortable getting out of line with men like me, in which we then have to retroactively fix the women that you think that you coaching into submission. You actually coaching them to go into a burning house, and you coaching them out of their femininity. You coaching them into a space to where they feel comfortable enough to put them on the same level as men.
And what he's doing is he's accusing him. The accusations before the court is that this guy is a fake Derek Jackson and that he's simping. And this is what we are here to iron out and give our ruling on.
You don't think so?
I don't think I did that.
Oh, okay. But I don't want to divert away from what we was talking about.
Yeah,
go ahead, break me down. You haven't fully broke me down yet. So go ahead. Any other questions that you have for me?
No. I mean, obviously, I wanted to find out where that particular thought process came from. So you're saying it came from observations and what you've seen and what you've
lived experiences compared with what it was that I was used to seeing.
Okay, so in that particular aspect, would you consider this to be an effective method in terms of actually producing healthy relationships between men and women when you decide that in a moment, if she has punched you in the face, that it'll be acceptable to now use a Timberland boot?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. Matter of fact,
and this is he's speaking in the duty of equality. He's saying, he's really trolling. He's gonna go on to say this. He's saying, it's funny because he's from Detroit too. He says, if women want to be equal, then this is what he's saying. But he's gonna get into it. It's a long video.
Hold on. Before you finish breaking me down, let's do this.
Sir. Okay.
The original.
She's not liking the energy you are putting on.
It's that sister code attitude. Her lips look phenomenal.
No, my attitude, because your spirit is weak, my attitude is bad.
Now, one thing that I did not hear you say during this whole video breakdown is you never held any of the women accountable for the things that they were saying, which I know that you had watched up to this point, because in order for you to even be able to grasp this clip, you had to be aware of what was going on to a certain extent. So let me ask you a question before we get back to me. Please. Why are you not holding any of the women accountable that say some of the most egregious shit to me on some of these platforms? As a matter of fact, you harbor the #1 terrorist. Maybe it's because you like Ready to Love, but says some of the most. I would invite you to go and review the video in which me and Kayla fell out and review that. And I'm curious, would you hold her just as accountable as you were advising the women not to talk to a man, such as myself that has a daughter, successfully married for the last 18 years, pour into my community, hire most of the people that look like you and the gender that you actually champion the most? I'm wondering, because you didn't hold any of these hyenas on the panel accountable, would you hold them just as accountable as you held me?
I believe so. I would have. I mean,
have you
answer the question directly, sir? That was a yes or no question. The court's gonna need a direct answer from you, sir.
Ever done a video in which you've held women accountable, such as the way you done me? Because you were saying, listen, you said ladies, stay away from men like this.
Yeah, and it's of course I've done videos where I've said, man, them stay away from these women too. So I've done videos on both. We just had a live on Sunday. It was men's panel, and it was between men and women, and it got very, very tasty.
Not a panel. I'm talking.
No. It was only men.
You as an individual that is reviewing a video. I am wondering.
Right, because people can say anything on a panel, and you might not even agree with what they're saying, but they're just saying it on your panel. And so he's saying, this is how you feel. Don't say a panel. That's peer pressure. You might be in a conversation that somebody else started and just have to agree. No, he's saying you on your own accord. Continue.
If you are breaking it down and saying, stay away from these hyenas.
I don't say hyenas, but I have done videos where I have said, listen, stay away from this type of woman. I have done those kind of videos as well. So I've done both. I've done both.
You want to hear what I heard you say? Let me tell you.
Okay, so what is a weak spirit? What is a weak spirit? Because y'all used to used to saying what you want to say, and then a dude saying, "Oh, you know what? We don't fight with women." Well, I'm dead.
You hear what I said? You used to do women doing and saying what they want to say, what they want to say it, and doing what they do when they want to do it. And then they used to men saying, oh, but you know what? Respect them, love them, regardless of how it is that they do and treat you and say and talk to you, so on and so forth. You don't hold these women accountable, Kojo.
I do hold the women accountable, but I had a focus on the video. The conversation
Oh, it
was
was focused
starting
on
off.
me.
It was because when I clicked on it, that's the part I clicked on, so that's where the video took me to. So, because obviously that beginning
No
of the video
correlation. No correlation with Kayla, right? Just want to make sure.
Wait, what?
You don't have any kind of affiliation, or you're not incentivized to have these conversations based off of.
Are you not seeing?
Based off of
they're trying to cancel me.
Hold on, wait. You're not incentivized to have this conversation based off of any kind of affiliation with Kayla, right?
You're leading the witness, sir. Continue with your questioning, Mr. Daniels.
No, you not see that? Do you not see I just did it?
Well, hold on. We're gonna continue the conversation. I'm gonna let you have the context. What is that? What we got going on over here?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Videos.
Hold on. Wait. Let me go to videos. This is your page, right?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure that. What is this? Hold on. Wait. Let me just see something.
Go for it.
Hold on. What the hell is that? What is going on here?
What is what? I'm so confused.
What is that?
Kayla regrets kiss.
You doing a lot. You got a lot of clips and a lot of videos.
Yeah, I do this full time, so I'm a commentator. So I break down my own videos and put them into smaller pivots so people.
What Prosecutor Daniels is attempting to prove is that Little Black Book has a reason, because Anton and Kayla have a popular beef, which he's going to go on to get into with him. But he's trying to get him to admit or prove, he's trying to prove that there's a connection between him having an affiliation with Kayla and him having a dislike for him, because he has a beef with Kayla. So if you like Kayla, it may be that the reason why you're doing this is because your affiliation with Kayla. He hasn't proved his case yet, but this is what he's attempting to prove.
Can watch them in smaller bits so they can digest it.
You don't think? Let me scroll up a little bit. Oh, Jesus. You don't think that this is a little biased? You don't think that this look a little suspect? I'm just curious, just from my perspective.
No, how can it be suspect? Go for widen the shot again and see how many people are on that page.
How many people are on what page?
If you widen it. If you widen the shot so we can see how many videos I've done and look what I do.
But my question was any kind of affiliation or content that you've collaborated on.
We haven't. She's been interviewed because she's on the show, Ready to Love. As you see, I'm on own TV as well.
Now you're trying to wordplay, because him having a collaboration with her doesn't mean that he has an underlying reason to diss you. He works for the network that does that show. So he's doing his job. So if he does have an affiliation with Kayla for doing this, you're not proving it by just showing the videos that he's done. Like, if there was a video where they were talking about you, then yeah. But they're talking about the show that she's on and a network that he works for, and he's doing a video about it. So you have not proved the Kayla angle. It's a nice try, but the court is not amused.
Familiar with her being on the Lapeef network?
Absolutely.
Oh, so you do know. So were you familiar with her and I having a little bit of a tiff?
I do. Yes, I do have that. I do have that recollection. Yep.
He's trying.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. All right.
We never discussed that on her interview.
I just wanted to have some insight and information on what it is that I'm getting
into. That's an important thing.
I like to do a little bit of research to find out what it is that I'm getting into. Okay, so let's go back. I
came across this video and I was like, okay, let me do one for the ladies. Look, if you listen to what people say, okay, they tell you how.
Now let me stop, sir. Let me stop you right there. Because you are being accused of pandering to the women. And the first thing you said was, I came across this video and said, let me do one for the ladies. So you have openly admitted that you're doing this for the ladies. So your pandering case, it's not looking all that good at this moment, because you just said, let me do this for the ladies. So if someone's saying that you're doing things for the ladies and you're saying, let me do this for the ladies, continue, sir.
How they are.
We can always just replay the tape. I could be wrong. I might have heard it wrong.
That's why I'm saying hold people accountable. Because if you miss this red flag, I don't want to hear anybody crying.
So I'm a red flag, but go ahead. I'm a red flag, right?
The comment was a red flag, absolutely. So you would be a red flag in terms of what you said, yes.
I
Because
like
the
the
context you
fact
gave
that
me
you
is slightly
stand.
different.
I like the fact that you stand on your
That's what you said.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I respect him
If
for
you
this,
miss
though.
this red
He
flag
pulled
and you
up.
date someone like this, I do not want to hear you crying about give me a story. I don't want to.
If you date somebody like this, I don't want to hear you crying about me giving a story. Is that not the very thing that I just said that you were saying to the women?
How do you mean?
You were advising
That's the
women
question,
not
sir.
to fuck with dudes like me, right?
Watch your language, Mr.
Yeah,
Daniels.
if I did say that, yes, I did.
What do you mean if you did say that? We just played it.
No, I said yes, I did. I said yes, I did.
Oh, you
Yes,
did.
I did.
No, you said if I did say that.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. Yes, I did.
Get
Okay,
your words
now
right
why?
there. You're under oath.
Why did I say that? Because the context of the
you
video.
don't think it's
by the way,
necessary for us to hold women accountable for their actions, especially when they consider themselves equal and they put their hands on a man? You don't think that it's necessary?
that wasn't the context of the video. That wasn't what the context of. I remember. That's why I said to you, I don't remember the context of that video being about what you just mentioned.
Sir,
And you've
let
added
me
a context that
interject here,
I don't
Mr.
remember
Daniels.
being in that particular 13-minute video. The conversation started off.
Let me interject here. If you want to do a video about someone and about something that they said, it is your job to understand context. Where the conversation switches, whatever's being talked about, it's your job to understand why somebody said that. Especially if you have a problem with something someone said, your main objective is to understand why they said it. Like, yo, why would you even say that? So then once you answer that question, if it's still stupid, then you cut into him. So the context was there. She said he had a weak spirit. So he's saying, what's that? A dude that you can slap him and he won't do anything back? You're like, oh no, you used to them dudes that won't fight women back. So that was the context. He made it the context with his comment. So even if it wasn't the context of the entire conversation, once the insult got thrown and he said that back, he asked her a question. He said, what is a weak spirit? So therefore, now the conversation becomes centered around that. And what his interpretation was a dude that won't slap you, all of that. So this is where it went. So it was your job to understand the context of where the conversation went if you had a problem with what was being said.
With being about people stepping out on a relationship. That's I said, if I'm wrong, I don't mind apologizing. But when it got to that part of the conversation, old girl, is it Javan TV? She said about weak spirit or whatever. That's what led to the comment between you and her, and then all of a sudden now you're dropping the whole you know what, I'll kick
it's not the first time. It's actually not the first video that I told a chick that I would kick her in her titty. But hold on, let's play a little bit more. Let's play a little bit more.
Hear it. Cool. Because I'm gonna play the clip again. I want you to listen with your own 2 ears to what he just said.
You passionate.
And I don't want to hear you say he scammed you, he lied to you, he was much more nicer in person. I realize he's told you what kind of man he is.
Wait a minute, Kojo. Can I give you a little bit of a coaching tip?
Go for it.
Don't ever do like this when you talking, bro. I know it might be cool in the UK. You may not be familiar with some of these hyenas over here in the United States of America, but women that is for the streets and they feel like they telling you off and they one slap away from rearranging your glasses on your face, talk like this. They do like this when they talk. You never want to do that, big dog. Just for future reference, a tip from me to you, big dog, okay?
Okay. All right. This is the accountability piece we're talking about. So if you're new to the channel, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you. We'll be here for about 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute live, real quick, no long thing. Listen to this, okay? Listen to this last bit, okay? Listen to this again.
But no,
it's that sister code attitude. Her lips look phenomenal.
My attitude, because your spirit is weak, my attitude is bad.
See, and let me stop. And this is what happens. People try to justify their attitudes by saying you are weak. So because you got an attitude, I'm not even saying that you know, women be having attitudes. I'm just saying. People try to justify having an attitude by saying you weak when really it's your attitude. You know what I'm saying? And she tried to, oh my, yo, you weak, and then so she threw a shot at him, but he ignored that part. He seen the second shot thrown back, but he didn't uh process what got them there, which was her comment.
Ooh, these chicks is talking greasy. And you know what the funny part is? All the way up into this part, they was talking mad greasy though. But let's continue.
Okay, so what is a weak spirit? What is a weak spirit? Because y'all used to you used to saying what you want to say, and then a dude saying, "Oh, you know what? We don't fight with women." Well, I'm different because I will kick a chick in her titty. I will do it.
And he said that, Javon. So they're not used to women.
Even Siobhan.
I want to hear your breakdown
a little bit. Siobhan, who's normally in the corner here, second to bottom right, even she was shocked. That should let you know, that even because normally Siobhan is quite a person who's quite, chill. She takes in both perspectives, but even she was shocked, and that's when I knew that it was shocking to hear. Right, to hear a man say to you or to anybody else that he's happy that other people might not fight you, but I will kick you in the titty. It's like, what? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
You don't understand what I was talking about?
Oh, no, it's a saying. When you say, I don't know, what are you talking about? It's more of a case of like, do you hear yourself, what you're saying? You know what I mean? So I do understand what you're saying, and I don't agree with it. And again, the context of what you gave me a minute ago about, there being, if she wants to fight you, I didn't hear that. And I still didn't hear that in this particular video. So as I said, unless I've missed it, then the context of this conversation was about the fact that it was about stepping out. And then the conversation escalated to now weak spirit. And then suddenly I don't mind kicking a woman in her titties.
No, I said that y'all the type of chicks that's used to dealing with a dude. And I said that. I said, y'all the type of chicks that's used to dealing with certain type of dudes that was saying, oh, you know what I'm saying? Let her say what she want to say, whatever, do what she want to do or whatever. If it escalates to that point, I will kick a chick in the titty. But let's continue. I want to hear the rest of the context.
And like, what are you talking about? These are the type of men. Listen, give a man long enough to.
And I'm not even going to add this as a part of the conversation because I want to keep it here. But I'm sure you are familiar with trolling. Neither here nor there. Trolling is it?
So were you trolling? But were you trolling?
No. In real life, I was trolling, but I will. No, listen. I was trolling, but I will kick a chick in the titty.
The court objects, Mr. Daniels. That is irrelevant information, and whether you were trolling or not. Continue.
That's the context. But let's continue.
Talk, he'll hang himself. Give a man long enough to talk, he'll hang himself. Because the rhetoric will come out. The truth of that person's feeling and sentiment will come out. This is somebody who's married, by the way. Now, I'm not saying he's ever given me any vibe that he's doing anything to his wife. But the fact is, after this conversation, also remember,
I respect him for pulling up to the live because he was talking spicy about him. And his whole comment section was too. So like, if you got the balls to say these things about a dude and then pull up to the, it ain't like he was, talking super duper crazy to him. And then, if you're going to pull up and stand on it, I can respect you. And he stood on his words. He stuttered through it, sounded crazy a little here and there. But I respect dude. I went and subbed him. He's, respect him for pulling up. Everybody ain't going to pull up after they done talked about you.
He was part of the Peace Network originally when Kevin Samuels also gave that DV conversation. And I didn't like it either. Right?
Wait a minute. I didn't watch this part of the video. I must have skipped it. What are your thoughts on Kevin Samuels?
I think he had some rhetoric that was appalling, and there were some parts of it which were absolutely true.
What parts was appalling?
Like I said about the DV.
I don't know.
When you're advocating,
I don't know what DV is.
Discipline.
I honestly, I genuinely don't know.
I didn't want to say it like on a domestic V. I don't want to say it.
Oh, okay. What about it? What did he say that you disagree with?
When he was talking about obviously, disciplining, quote unquote, advocating for disciplining your wife as an aspect. I was not involved.
Did you hear the context of that conversation?
I did, and it doesn't make it any better.
And he didn't say domestic violence. He said Domestic.
He
said domestic discipline.
Discipline, which is still DV.
And it's not DV. And that clearly shows exactly what it is that you're listening to, because domestic discipline, I'm not going to get into it. That's a completely different conversation. But go ahead. Is that it? Is that the only thing you disagree with?
I think I also got this as well. The tone of the way he spoke to women was unappealing. If you're really trying to, I think it was unappealing. Tone is very important to a message.
Unappealing
You've taken
to
a particular tone. If we're, is it unappealing to an audience? You know what I mean?
How? If he had over 1 million subscribers that tuned in, they see him that wanted, and he had women on a nightly basis calling him for advice on how it is that they can do things differently so that they can get the man that they want. How is it unappealing?
Listen, there are cults that have churches that have millions of people that go to those churches. Doesn't mean those churches are good churches.
So how do we know that your church is a good church?
How do we know? Are you talking about actual church? Or talking about a platform?
Whatever. How do we know that the advice that you give, the church that you go to, the leadership that you submit to, how do we know that they're good? How do you know that they're good?
I think when you look at the results in terms of being healthy and how people react, you can tell.
What do you mean by the results of being healthy?
If you go into any of the Kevin Samuels videos and you look at some of the comments that are made by us as men, you will see that some of those comments by men are egregious. Some of those comments by men are, I would say, on the verge of violence. And I would say at
on the verge of violence. He says some of the comments of men in the Kevin Samuels comment sections are on the verge of violence. My God. And listen, hold on. Kendra G's comment section is what bashing women looks and sounds like if you read it out loud. Like, what? On the verge of, sir, you're about to get thrown out of my court. One more outburst like that, and you are being held in contempt.
Some of the comments there are bitter and sour puss, and we're excited when we tear someone down.
The men's comments are bitter and sour puss. Did you see the women's comments in your video that you did of me?
I did see the women's comments. I did see them.
And that's your audience. Let's go to them. Let's see what the comments are.
Go for it.
I'm curious. Let's see what the comments are of the women that are in your audience. These are the women that patronize, support you, subscribe to your channel, so on and so forth. Let's see what their comments are. He's a very suspect guy. Oh, hold on. Let's back this up. He's been married for years, but talks as though he's an expert at dating. That's how Anton is. I wouldn't be surprised if he's cheating on his wife right now. You see this shit? I am the prototype of what being successfully married looked like. Don't worry about it. I would be embarrassed to be married to such an angry brute. And Anton out here moving mad in these streets. I don't see how people listen to him. I feel for his wife. Why aren't you deleting these fucking egregious comments? Why aren't you deleting these egregious comments, but you holding these other guys' comments, you're holding them and saying that they're egregious. You don't think that any of this is egregious? You think that it's okay for them to be able to speak on my wife?
They
didn't speak on your wife. They said that they feel for your wife.
Okay, cool.
Sir. Mr. Black Book, I will not allow semantics in my court. They said, I feel for his wife. She said, I don't know how he's married to an angry brute. That, sir, is speaking on his wife. What are you talking about? Don't piss me off in here in this courtroom today.
Let's see. Anton has an interest in ego. He tries to appeal to the male followers in the manosphere. I've never even said that I'm in the manosphere. Well, that's grotesque. He also said she was speaking in parables. What she said was pretty clear cut. All the women should have left the panel. Being married doesn't mean happily married. Let's see. What else we got here? Not the biggest fan of Anton. Cool. Definitely stop listening to him. His ego. I avoid unhappily coupled people. Let's see. Wow, glad they aren't too many of them out there. If you have one like him, run. How did he get his wife? She must be suffering daily with a husband like him. Poor Ting. That's how men are in real life. His wife is in trouble. Prepare for the worst. Bitch energy on 10.
We have to take a short recess to laugh at the evidence. They was in the comments smoking this nigga, dog. Oh my God, and his wife. And women are brutal. That's what I'm saying. Like, they be acting like they not. And they talk about binge delivery. I never want to hear this shit from y'all. Shut up.
An abusive, misogynistic cheater.
Damn.
Where's all of this stuff being substantiated at? I've never cheated on my wife in my life. You don't think that these comments are egregious? And it gets worse. I mean,
technically, the only one that was
the top comments. These are the top comments. Your comments get worse. Your live comments was egregious as far as a man that is raising. Bro, every last one of my brothers are married, successfully married, contributing members of society. All of my uncles. All of my uncles. My grandmother had 9 children on her side. My grandmother on the other side, both married until they died. My father was married to my mother until he passed away. What makes them think that they can substantiate such evil comments to a man?
The manosphere is the dudes that be talking, the men that be talking online about men, women, but really I really don't even know who's part of it for real. Because a lot of people disassociated themselves from it now because it's uncontrollable and they demonized it. And so for branding's sake, a lot of people won't even say they're in the manosphere because women, feminists, and all of that stuff have demonized the manosphere. Now it's like men just hating on women or incels and all that stuff. So the most popular creators don't even say they're in the manosphere. Well, I ain't gonna lie. Well, even O'Shea, he's like the manosphere, but then he won't say he is no more because it's like a bad branding move to even claim him anymore. But basically, it's basically the men online that be talking, that do the videos about women, basically.
That is holding down his family and is contributing to society and pouring into the people that he actually love and highlight as his family the most. What makes you think that you shouldn't hold them accountable as far as being egregious, but you can hold somebody else's comments egregious? You got to clean up your own house first before you start holding somebody else accountable.
Hold on. First and foremost, the only really egregious one is one you just showed me, which is Miss Lady.
Okay, let's go. I'm not surprised considering the current black femicide.
No, because the reason why is because it's dudes that be saying crazy stuff too. It's the dudes that really be talking real, and then it's the dudes that be like, you bees is all stupid, and you know what I'm saying? Just so then it's oh, that's the manosphere, but really it's yo, no, nobody even really know him. He just going crazy. Like a guy like Tommy Sotomayor, he talks differently than Kevin Samuels does. That's two totally different type of dudes. You know what I mean? Even the dudes fresh and fit, Myron talk different than I would to a woman. And we're gonna give them the same message basically, but we're not gonna talk the same. I talk a little differently than he does. So yeah, so that's what it is. It's the fact that no, we can't group up and talk real. Hell no, because they don't want to hear real. They want to hear this type of shit from Lil Black Book.
Rate.
Derek Jackson.
That's not egregious too?
Do you know why it's not egregious? Because the rhetoric that you spoke about is in alignment with that particular femicide. If you know, you know.
I can't believe that you won't even hold your own members in your own chat
you said
accountable, but yet they can say whatever it is that they want to say about me. Oh, I'm closeted. Now I'm gay now. You don't think that that's egregious too?
You know what? Again,
because that's the second gay comment that I've seen on your panel.
That one is egregious. I would say that's egregious.
That's the second one. That's the second one.
I would agree with you.
So when you gonna remove them?
When are you going to remove the ones that are about me?
No.
Sir, you're the one on
That's what women do. That's what women do. When I talk to my
you
wife,
have the same thing.
when I talk to my wife,
and I'm not your wife,
and
so
you're not even listening to the full context. When I'm talking to my wife, and she's telling me about the different children that she's dealing with on a regular basis, what they do is you tell them and you say, hey, I want you to clean up the kitchen. And they say, well, they didn't clean up the kitchen by this time at the same time that he did. No, we talking to you.
Don't ask me to do something if you're not willing to do it yourself.
No, you said that the comments were egregious. This was your comment. You emphasized how egregious your own comments were, but you are holding accountable men from another comment section. But then you're sitting here trying to tell me that I
said two. I said two of the comments that you showed me are egregious.
And your live
Are you serious, sir? Are you trying to say that out of all these comments that we just seen, only 2 of them are egregious? Every comment that called him a cheater was egregious when the whole comment wasn't even about cheating. And they called him closet gay 3 times. So that's more egregiousness. So what are you saying, sir? That only 2 comments were egregious. I counted at least.
That's fucked up. Your live comments was even worse.
Okay.
When are you gonna clean up your comments before you start holding other people? When are you gonna clean up these holes that's on your channel?
Comments are not part
saying
of the
some of the most
evidence,
egregious shit about a man that's actually good for the community. Ain't never went to jail in my life. Ain't never did nothing to nobody. Don't owe nobody nothing. Actually, I would say that I probably have more testimonials than anybody that you rock with on Reddit.
You probably do. You probably do.
When you gonna start holding these hyenas accountable?
That makes no difference to what you said on the actual panel, which when you give a context,
you're not answering the question though.
No, I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to get the answer question. But if you every time you cut me off when I'm talking, you're not going to get the answer.
I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. See that? See how I'm able to take accountability? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So yes, I can also clean up my comments and I can clear those particular ones that I don't feel are accurate in regards to the particular video. Not a problem. I'll get on it. The video wasn't about if a woman hits you. But I may be wrong. Was I wrong in that particular context?
No, I was trolling.
That portion
wasn't about that.
Okay, so you
said, I will kick a chick in the titty. That's a warning. That's to say, yo, don't get too out of line. Don't feel like you can cross the line like they can feel like they can cross the line maybe with another guy that maybe you coach, maybe that aligns with you, maybe that thinks more closely to the way that you think, because I'm not the one. And if people don't have a level of fear in their heart, if they don't understand, even men, and this is one of the things that Kevin Samuel said that you may agree with. Men understand that when you cross a certain line, that there's a level that you may have to go to that can end up in combat, violence, a level of disrespect that crosses the line, whether it's you putting your hands on another man or whatever, may lead to fear, may lead to violence. It may lead to some furniture moving. Women don't have that fear, and as a result, they feel like they can do anything and say anything to you because they don't even have that fear in them. They feel comfortable disrespecting you and not walking around operating in their femininity because you've given them permission to be men in your own household. You don't agree with that?
There's parts of what you agree with. I believe that if you're operating in your masculine, the woman can rest in her feminine. I definitely agree with that in terms of protection, provision, and priesthood. I agree with that 100%.
You ever seen my chick get out of line?
I've never seen your chick, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. I got you.
You know what I mean? I've never seen your chick. Yeah, I don't know.
Did you see the video in the airport where that woman felt comfortable continuing to put her hands on that man until he mollywopped her, and then everybody wanted to come to her aid?
I saw that video. Is that the norm?
You're missing the point. Was it wrong for him to mollywop that hoe because she kept putting her hands on him?
I said I think he would have been well pressed to well positioned to warn her, say, hey, next time you do this,
politically correct. Was it right or wrong for that man to knock that hoe out because she kept on assaulting him?
No, I feel like we're going for a hot take, so I think we need to nuance this particular conversation so we know exactly what we're saying.
I'm saying is this a yes or no? I'm not asking for you to. You can get yes or no, you can get whatever. Usually, what happens is when you ask somebody a question, they answer the question yes or no or whatever, and then they give the context. I'm asking you specifically: was he wrong for dealing with her accordingly after she put her hands on him multiple times?
No, not in that situation. Not in that particular video. If we're talking about context,
So how am I a red flag if a chick would do something? Because you still think
it's you didn't give that context.
Wait, I'm not even talking about that. You have additional context now after we had the conversation. Am I still a red flag?
But that wasn't
you
because
have
the
additional
context in that video.
I'm not talking about the video. I'm talking about now. Me and you had having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Am I still a red flag?
If you're saying that you're trolling with that kind of stuff, I would still call it a red flag. Why would you need to troll with that kind of stuff?
So I'm a red flag because I'm a troll now. You're not answering whether or not I'm a red. No, I'm talking about in real life. Am I a red flag?
It's still a red flag.
Am I a red flag if a woman comes at me and tries to assault me and I defend myself accordingly? Am I a red flag?
No, if that is the context, no, I wouldn't call you a red flag. But that wasn't.
But I am a red flag for trolling.
You're trolling. If you wanted to troll, but I would kick a girl in the titty, I would say you are a red flag for that.
No, I will kick a girl in the titty if she decides that she wants to boss up on me and approach me and get at me like a man.
Then, like I said, if that's the context that was you're giving me right now, and you say that woman's rolled up on you and you defend yourself, right, within reason, then why would I wouldn't call you a red flag. You're out here defending yourself because someone's attacking you in that moment. That's a different situation. I didn't have that context originally.
But you needed that context originally, sir. It was up to you, while breaking the video down, to understand the context of the video. If you're going to accuse a man of being egregious, such as you even said that his rhetoric was in line with femicide. So if you're going that far, you need to have a reason as to why. So the context was up to you. The burden of proof is on you, sir. You did the video. You made the claim.
You know what I mean?
No.
No. I don't know what you mean.
I don't either.
You know, I just don't. If a woman was making jokes, trolling like you were.
I honestly believe that you believe this. I think that you're answering the question appropriately because you don't want to sound like a hypocrite, according to the example I just gave you from the airport. But I believe that you truly still believe that I'm a red flag, and that's okay. I just want you to admit it.
You just said it a couple times.
But I already said that I believe you're a red flag. You asked me, and I said yes, I do. For the trolling that you were doing, I don't believe that somebody who, like you said you're upstanding citizen as a man, etc., trolls and makes jokes about kicking women in the titties. I don't think we do that. If we're sensible men and we believe that we're upstanding men, we don't make jokes about kicking women in the titty. It's just not a joke. If a woman was to make a joke about slapping Anton in the face, I can guarantee you probably more than likely you.
You mean like some of these hyenas that be on the panel?
And the mere fact you call them hyenas tells me exactly how you'd feel about if someone made a joke like that. They're trolling you like that. You take it some way.
No, I'm okay. They joke on me all the time. Right. What do you mean? Listen. Nobody has had more videos
joking you
made
they're gonna hit you?
Nobody has had more videos made of me. Nobody has had more insults thrown at them on the Lapeef network than Anton from AntonDaniels.com. That is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fact.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody on that panel, and you know what I do? I take it in stride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I take it in stride. I'm cool. I'm chill. But you know what happens? You know, we had this young lady on the panel, and her name was Kay. And she threw a joke at me, and then I threw a joke back at her. And you know what they said? Oh, Anton, that's too mean. No, you shouldn't have called her a linebacker.
He did not call Kay a linebacker.
She can talk about me, but I can't talk back about her. And this is the environment in which we
like
exist in, and this is my problem. My problem is that you don't truly
the jury will
understand
strike
what
that
it is
from
that
the
you're dealing with
evidence.
yet. Maybe because you're not married. Maybe because, and God forbid, and I pray that you never find yourself in a negative situation in which you did not set the expectations early enough to where she never felt comfortable disrespecting you in an argument or when she get heated in the first place. But my point is that it's a different breed of woman out here now. And these women feeling empowered. They feel like they have the same rights as men. They feel like they're as strong as men. But then when they get knocked out on their face, when they start to put their hands on men, they want to cry wolf. It's equal rights, but not equal results. And so my point is that we cannot continue to let the prisoners control the asylum. You cannot. And just because you want to seem like a gentleman, and I think that you're a nice guy. I think that you are very, very intelligent. I would consider you, even though we had civil discourse, I would consider you an acquaintance now.
I appreciate it.
And I won't do any kind of negative videos on you because you were willing to pull up and have a conversation. But if you don't understand the environment in which we exist in which women feel comfortable labeling the men however they want to label them, but don't want to take accountability for what got them there in the first place, that's a problem, in my opinion. And you may feel differently. But the problem is that you still hold men to a higher standard as far as being accountable for the things that they do and say, yet you still have women in your audience that say that women are equal and they should be treated at the same level. That's where the problem lies, is because it's not an equal accountability. See, the difference between you and I in a lot of instances,
it can never be equal accountability, though.
The difference between you and I is that I'm an equal. I treat people according to how it is that they frame themselves. See, my wife, she don't put herself on the same level as me, right? She gives me a level of respect that would never, ever, ever cause for me to ever. I look at her as the most precious thing in the world. She's like a jewel to me. I treat her better than any human being on this earth short of my daughter. I treat her like gold, but I treat her according to the position and the stance that she takes towards me. That's the difference, is that y'all are enabling all of these women and you putting them all on the same level, and they not. They don't deserve to be treated the same way across the board. These women are evil. They hyenas. And they will snatch your life from you the minute that you turn your back if you continue to walk into this with your eyes wide shut. That's what I'm saying. And so you treat the women according to whoever it is that they are. You don't treat them the same all the way across the board just because she got a pussy. That's all I'm saying.
Disagree. Okay.
You disagree?
I said agree to disagree.
Hold on one second. What do you disagree on? To actually respect you a lot more as a result of even being willing to have this conversation with me in the first place. So I'm ceding the end of the platform over to you just out of respect of you being able to pull up for you to give your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is I want to hold.
Yeah. Do you have any last words before the court deliberates?
Both parties accountable. I want to hold women accountable for the decisions that they make, and I want to hold accountable for us as men for the decisions that we make. As leaders, I hold men to a different standard in this particular aspect, because when you're a leader, you have rights and you have responsibilities. And I think we agree here when we say that if we want our community to shift forward in the right way that we're looking for it, we're going to have to hold men and say, men, pull up. Because if we don't, the ladies are going to keep on going the way they're going. I think there's a way to do that. We may be disagreeing on the way how to hold parties accountable, almost like the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King situation. We may have two different ways of going about it. But in the end, there is some acquiescence that I can also say. There is some parts which I would say there's some things that I just can't do that others can do will be essential for the community to move forward. I may not always agree with it, just like I don't agree with everything that Martin Luther King or Malcolm X did, but they needed both of them to work at the same time for our community to move forward. It's sometimes a necessary evil, we might call it. But I'm saying in this aspect, I want to hold both parties accountable, but specifically, I hold more for men in certain areas because they are leaders. And if they fix up, everyone else who follows you fixes up. You and I both, you run your own platform, bro. If you say something, they're going to follow. If I say something, they're going to follow. Because we're both leaders of our
here's the
platforms.
context, though.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you got to make an example of a couple of these women, which is one of the things that I had to do on the Lapeef Network. Sometimes it's not just about I'm a lead and they gonna follow. Sometimes they get so out of line and they get so disrespectful and so entitled and they so indoctrinated by what's happening in society today that you just got to cut them off and you got to deal with them accordingly. It's not just about being a leader and they gonna follow. It's about holding these women accountable so that we can make sure that so the rest of these women don't get infected by what's going on. And that's what I think the feminism has done. It's infected women. I would agree with that. And it's pushed us to the brink to where the family structure is all upside down and what we think is right is wrong and wrong is right. And I don't disagree with you. I think that largely you have the right sentiment, and I think that you're very, very intelligent, and I have a lot of respect for you. I think that the Malcolm Martin analogy is probably a little bit more of an accurate one. You Martin, and I'm Malcolm.
I agree with that. I
But
agree with that. I'll take
but
it.
I do think that is when you take into consideration the landscape. I don't think it's as simple as just saying men lead anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair. And I would say if we can in future, we can have more conversations like this because I
Yeah,
think we
I'm cool
can
with that.
begin to move forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I
I
consider
appreciate
you
you.
an acquaintance, and
Same here.
I have no. And just for the record, I was cool with the reaction.
Okay.
I was
appreciate
cool
that.
with the reaction. I just wonder a lot of times once people get to a certain level as far as visibility, whether or not they can deal with the smoke on the other side of it that go along with it.
It's respect.
That's fair. And
Nothing but
I respect the
respect.
fact that you could hold your own on that, and there's no ill blood. So for me, like I said,
He got
I
that
want to
silly
continue
smile
having
on his
more
face, like,
conversations
man, I
because I
was just
think
playing with you.
I also try to
And that's
learn
really what he was
from
doing
different
anyway.
perspectives. Whether we agree or not, I think we can always learn. So for me, I
He
do
was
see you're a
serious,
successful
but
individual
you was
person, and
just
I like
trolling
to
him.
tap into that. You know what I mean? And I like
Yeah, I
to have a
mean, we can
conversation.
kick it.
We
I
set up a
think that we
community.
should do more collabs together. I think that you are a really good content creator. You're able to articulate yourself really well, and you have a completely different audience than I have.
Like,
So, all right, my
I
friend. Well,
appreciate you,
listen, I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by, bro.
Anton. I appreciate it, man. All
All
right.
right, bro. See, friends, see what happens when you have civil discourse. It doesn't always go left towards the end of the show, and it's not always smoke. We may have differences of opinions on a lot of things, but it doesn't have to necessarily end in bad blood. I think that this is one of the times, and this is why it's important to have the conversation. For the rest
you
of you
know.
content creators that's scared to pull me up when I show up in your chat, and then you don't want to pull up to the show,
Yeah, who
I'm
are
gonna
they?
bring
They
you to the
stupid.
front of the congregation.
Why wouldn't they
But
want to pull
shout
up to
out
the
to the
booth?
homie.
They don't know how to network.
I appreciate you for tapping in, big dog.
Okay. Um, the court will take a very short 15-second recess and come back with the verdict. All rise. You may be seated. Mr. Black Book. The court has came up with a verdict. As to count one, simping for Kayla, the court finds you not guilty, sir. There was not sufficient evidence to support the claim that you were doing these videos about Anton because of your affiliation with Kayla. So you are not guilty on that charge, sir. Count two, being the fake Derek Jackson. The court found you, sir, not guilty. The court doesn't think you're a fake Derek, sir. The court thinks you're really just trying. You're good at what you do, and the court likes you. It's to count three, pandering and simping to women. The court finds you guilty. You're guilty, sir. And my sentence goes as follows. Because the court feels as though this is just a cultural divide, we're going to take some leniency on you. I feel as though you did not understand the context of what was being said in that video because you don't fully understand American women. So the court is going to sentence you to 15 hours of Love and Hip Hop New York and 5 hours of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And you have to watch 3 movies by Brian Hooks. And that is your sentence, sir. You are free to go. Thank you all. Thank you all. So yeah, that's it, y'all. I'll let y'all. Court's adjourned. Court is adjourned. Damn, I said court is adjourned. I thought it was adjourned. Court is now adjourned.